Hello, brothers and sisters. Whoop. I'll wipe that. Okay, hello, brothers and sisters. Cameron here. Hope your day is going well. I just found something interesting. I actually just found, I don't know if you've ever seen this before. It's a tie rack, and I actually found a bunch of old ties from my Jehovah's Witness days, and I'm doing laundry right now. I only kept like 3 of them. So this is this big-ass pile. I'm doing some cleaning right now. A big-ass pile of god-awful ties. Look how awful these ties are. Bad style, just no style at all. I'm getting rid of all of these. There's more. I'm getting rid of all of this shit because it's not who I am anymore. Now I actually have a sense of style. And I recently actually ran an Instagram poll. Recently ran an Instagram post and poll where I asked you guys if you would be interested in, asked my brothers and sisters if you'd be interested in seeing a style and fashion video because, well, I'm dropping everything, because once you're out of the Jehovah's, like, some areas are different, but the area that I grew up in with Jehovah's Witnesses, we were very poor. We grew up in the dirt. You know, I remember the neighborhood that I was in, which was several in the small town that I was in, was mostly Jehovah's Witnesses. You know, there was like people cooking meth and doing, you know, coke around the corner, and no judgment to people that are doing that, but I know it's dangerous, and at least the information that I have right now, it was interesting coming home from school and seeing a SWAT team next door asking if they could, you know, go in your backyard because they were looking for somebody. But that's the neighborhood that I grew up in, and in the smaller towns, generally the taste in style is pretty bad. So I dressed terribly because we were told to not spend a lot of money on clothes, give the money to the church, to the organization, to the J-Dubs, because the new world will be perfect. And now that I know that's all bullshit and it's a bunch of lies, I try really hard to have a good sense of style as just another sign of self-respect. But I'm going to do that fashion video in the near future. I actually found someone who could help me out with that because it's hard to film yourself with the clothes and the outfits and stuff. So that'll be really exciting to come out. Anyway, the main reason, well, this took forever to get to. The main reason why I want to talk about it is about this. I'll even put a skip link in the description. Is what it was like to be on the National Hearst documentary series for investigative reporting with Mark Albert. I was one of the people that was in the town hall. There was 13 Jehovah's Witnesses that were victims. And it was a very emotional, I mentioned in the last video, it was a very emotional time, a very emotional video. And you would think, you know, in 3 years, this is August, this is my 3-year anniversary of being out of the Jehovah's Witnesses, you know, being woke. You would think that you would be past, I'm trying to look at the camera now. You would think that you would be, I'm looking at myself. It's hard not to look at yourself because you're trying to keep yourself in frame. You would think that you would be past a lot of things that you were grown up with. One of my big beefs, and the reason why I'm a huge agnostic atheist now, is that I have a problem with is that religions, especially Christianity, teach that you are the dirt. You are a piece of shit. Now, they don't actually say that. You know, growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, we were taught and we sang songs that were good-for-nothing slaves. That is such a detrimental and unhealthy thing to do to a child or a person and their self-esteem. Because they're raised to think that they're nothing, and they're nothing without this other thing, without God, and the Bible doesn't have all the answers. And the Bible, if people actually knew what it really said, is full of horrible atrocities by the hand of God. And even Jesus. Like, I don't agree with Jesus either because he believed in genocide and he did a bunch of fucked up shit too. In the New Testament and the Old Testament, I found a bunch of new scriptures recently that I want to try out when I go to a cart. Anyway, so being on this show, you would think, you know, 3 years later, at the time it wasn't 3 years, 6 months ago, so 2.5 years ago, or years out of being mentally awoke, and, you know, at the same time talking to a couple of therapists, and pumping myself full of like motivational videos and trying to come up with, you know, why is this happening so I can address it and move forward with my life, or at least, you know why it's happening. And I was given techniques on like how to talk yourself out and put yourself in a better mental state. The stuff that happens when we're a child or adult or very impressionable will stick with you for a long time. So that 13-hour or 13-person interview, the town hall, the first of its kind, was very cool. but I wasn't prepared for what happened. I'm actually hoping, because there's only 3 parts that have been out. The 4th part, I'm not sure what happened. I'm gonna have to get in contact with Mark, send him a text, and be like, yo, what happened? But I did send him a text, and there's an Instagram post I already posted with some behind-the-scenes stuff that if you're not following me on Instagram, you should, at Cameron Fader. Please go watch that. There's some behind-the-scenes pictures and some videos of what it was like. It was in Northern California, and Hearst owns one of the news stations here in the area, and we stopped by. We had people flying in from Australia. We had Stephen Unthank from Australia. His story is fucking crazy. I was hoping that they would go further into each person's story. What ended up happening was just close-ups and quick zooms-ins and hands-holding of people crying and saying that they were a victim. And I don't think that does the stories justice, and I'm hoping that Hearst or Mark Albert can get permission, because we didn't sign any NDAs, we didn't sign any forms of our footage. We'd like, those stories need to be shared. Star Powell, Candace Conti were the first 2 that I was sitting in the town hall with, and they said their stories first. And when they moved the camera on me, I was already feeling emotional because I couldn't believe the stories that I was hearing. I just burst into tears, and then none of that is shown. And when Steven told his story, I was all emotional. I was losing it. And then person after person after person, Megan, Marissa, Brian, and Stephanie, Arden, like there's so many. I'm forgetting some of the names because I'm on the spot right now. But there are so many heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, and touching stories of shit that actually happened. And it's not super common day to day, every day. In every Jehovah's Witness life, but it's happening so much and so many times repeatedly, and there was times where we looked at each other like, that happened to you? The elders told you that too, and I can't believe that happened. Those stories need to be shared. So please, Hearst, I'm going to send Mark a message, but I'm putting this out publicly. Can we please have those stories and share them, because they are amazing and they need to be shared, especially with all the good that we've been able to accomplish. They barely talked about SB 360. Like, there's a lot that was missing, even with oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. Even with most of the interviews, a lot was cut out. And I get it for time. Just going into this, we thought that, the majority of us thought, because we've been texting, that it would be like a 2020 special, like a 45-minute thing or something like that. It was not. So it was like 3 or 4 episodes that are like a few minutes apiece. So regular news stuff, investigative reporting. Not saying that I'm not grateful and gratitude to be a part of the movement moving forward of really shoving this in Watchtower's face, because what they're doing, their policies are disgusting. Same with the Catholics, same with the Mormons, same with Scientologists, and any organization. Even cops do this sometimes, where they hide and use their power to hide sexual abuse or any type of mental or physical abuse. It's not okay to claim penitent privilege and hide that shit. But I remember we had rented out like a little library a few blocks before the morning that everything was shot. And, oh, great. And we met, and we kind of talked over SB 360 and what we were expecting. We had people, Stephen flew in from Australia. We had Candace from, like 3 or 4 hours away. We had people flying in from Arizona and flying in for this very special event. So that's why I'm pushing, please let us post these full stories, or at least give me the footage. I will figure out a way. I have a friend that has a computer. I'm sure I could bribe them for however many hours it's going to take to edit all that. I don't know how long that's going to take. It's going to take for a long time, but pumping out those stories one by one is very important to share, and also validate you if you've ever been a message, or if you've ever been a victim of abuse, sexual. Everyone's gone through emotional and traumatic abuse by being in most Christian denominations, especially cults and cult-like religions like the Jehovah's Witnesses. Anyway, I wanted to share that. What was it like being there? Really crazy. It was a 4-hour interview. So we were there for 4 hours, and near the end of it, I heard so many stories, and I was not prepared at that time to deal with that. Where I just legit had an anxiety attack on the stage, and I had to get up, and I walked off on the stage, went to the bathroom, splashed water on my face, and it was like my body hurt, my insides, my ribs, my back was all in pain. It was crazy. But the amount of support that we had from each other and showed with each other and telling our stories was awesome. I have links in the description if you've not seen the episodes down below. And I'm going to, it's been crazy this last couple of weeks, but I'm going to figure out a way to rip those videos. Of course, credit Hearst. and put them on the YouTube channel so that way, because I get a lot of messages of people saying, hey, I'm in Canada, how do I see this? Hey, I'm in Australia, how do I see this? Hey, I'm in Brazil, how do I see this? I hear you, I see you, I feel you. That will be happening ASAP, as soon as possible, hopefully within the next week. It's just been crazy schedule-wise with what's going on in my life. And then there's so much shit is happening. Like, they did an interview with Irwin Zalkin. He's actually my lawyer currently that I'm talking to about how do we move forward with the Jehovah's Witnesses. And this whole case coming out, if you haven't seen, I'm gonna have some links below where they're suing the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses for their awful policies on continuing to say in the public eye that we abhor child abuse, but in the private eye and in their policies, and when you talk to any lawyer, there's no help for the victims. So they're suing the governing body. I've never thought this would ever happen. I really hope the Jehovah's Witnesses begin to fall. I know that, like Canada alone, there was some articles that released on how much the Canada alone makes, which has less Jehovah's Witnesses than America. It was like $75 billion a year tax-free. So they have money. Like, don't feel bad about suing these people. They have money. And if you're a Jehovah's Witness, they're saying they're spending your money. What I think is interesting is that there's a video that I've been working on with my fellow collaborators for the bill SB 360, the CCLA, California Civil Liberties Advocacy. They were the original lobby group that when I, exited, one of the guys was, I'm trying not to say too much to give out his, because he's pretty much POMO. He was PMO, physically in, mentally out. Now he's physically out, mentally out, but he's still not disfellowshipped. And there's a few people he does not want to lose, and his family, because his family's, woke. If I said their positions as names, it would give too much away, because we grew up in the same congregation. Even saying that is scary. But to respect his privacy, because I love him as a brother. He's one of my best friends, if not the best, which is rare for me to have best friends right now, because you're still like self-discovering in that self-discovery phase, and your walls go up when you get woke. We were working together on, like, if someone is about to face a judicial committee or about to be disfellowshipped, how do we protect that individual? Well, there's the appeal process that is in the elders book. So if you don't probably hear my laundry, there's the appeal process in the elders book that you can follow. That only delays time. If the elders don't like you, and if you pull that card, they're going to be freaked out, because it's something that they don't inform you on. That's called coercive and non-informed consent and abusive. It's the same tactic that cops use to get a forced confession out of someone, even if they didn't do the crime. The appeal process, you can go through that. It's in the elders book. I want to do a whole video on this, hopefully soon. But it only delays the process, because if the elders don't like you, they're gonna find an excuse to disfellowship you, because I don't like your curly hair, Cameron. I don't like how you part your hair on the left side. You're bringing reproach on Jehovah's name by not dressing godly, and then talking bad about the elders because of your hair. Like, stupid shit like that is what they're gonna find to disfellowship anybody. But the appeal process can lengthen something by a little bit of length of time. But we were thinking what Zalkin did. He sued the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses. Of course, they're gonna use your money to protect themselves. But elders, if you put out a letter, and we're gonna hopefully have links and have this, there's so many what ifs, and it could fail. And we've held back from saying this online for so long. By suing or sending a letter to threaten to sue the elders individually in your congregation, the governing body will not, the society, the watchtower, the corporation that controls Jehovah's Witnesses, will not back up the elders. They're on their own. So it could do two things. It could do one thing. It could waken the elder, like, holy shit, they don't have my back? I devoted my life to this organization. And then the rare chance of that happening, I mean, cool. But the other side of it is it could get them off your back, especially if they're harassing the person, going after the person, trying to set up a judicial committee meeting with you, trying to stalk you online, to find any excuse to disfellowship you behind your back, threatening them with a letter, like saying off a I'm going to sue letter, which is scary. Standing up for yourself could scare the shit out of the elders and make it so that they back off. So we're thinking about putting this together with some legal forms and the legalese on how to do that and how to say that for free. And hopefully it will help out a fuck ton of people. Anyway, those are the updates that I wanted to say for you today. The videos are out. I'm gonna have links to them below, and hopefully I'll be able to upload the actual videos of the interviews. I'll try to do them like boom, 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 real quick as soon as I can. I just gotta rip them and then get them on my iPhone because I don't have anything to edit with. And if you notice, I'm shooting with my iPhone. If you made it this whoa, all I did was my elbow hit this thing. Let me see here. This is the second time this is done in the video. I need like a stand. All right. Do it this way. That was very funny. Cool. If you made it this far, you're an OG for sure. Notice I'm filming on my iPhone, and I don't have anything to edit with, so everything is like sent to my iPhone, which is difficult to edit on the iPhone, but it's possible. So if you've been watching for a while, you know that my vlogging camera that I've had for years, and my editing computer and my editing screen all broke within the same week about a month or so ago. And I have a link down in the description for a GoFundMe. If you can send a few dollars my way, I'm saving up trying to get a new vlog camera, but mainly an editing system because there's a lot of footage. Like I went back to the 2019 memorial and I have some crazy footage, and even convinced some elders to meet with me after and cornered them about their child abuse policies. Crazy shit that I really want to share with the world to help further this movement, because I'm passionate about spending the rest of my life of whatever I'm doing or whatever a point is putting a dent in the system that is just abusive and cruel to people. So please, if you can spend a few dollars, if you've watched 5 of my vlogs and any of that information has been helpful to you, then I think I'm in a position to ask for your help. And thank you so much to everyone who has. It means the world to me. You are amazing, and if I ever see you in person, because I'm hoping to have some meetups soon, I'm gonna give you the biggest hug. Anyway, brothers and sisters, thank you for watching this update video. Thank you for hanging out. If you're on Instagram, follow me at Cameron Fader. I'll have links down in the description below and links to the videos. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I'm gonna upload those stuff as soon as I figure out how to rip videos from a website. I don't know how to do that, but I'll figure it out. Okay, love you all. I'll see you in the next video.